This is Sarah Giletti for the DIY channel, and it is my honor and privilege to have James Lowe here with us of the pioneering Electric Prunes. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're very welcome, Sarah.
Just stroll the street and waits to meet the guy who will save us soul.
Credited as one of the first psychedelic bands.
Right.
Would you describe yourself as psychedelic or garage?
Well, since we started in the garage, I'd really think we were, I'd consider us a garage band, but I guess psychedelic fits good enough. It wasn't a term that was out when we came out, so, and that record, people all said that's a very psychedelic record, so I don't know who was first or what, but that we released it in 1966, so
What makes it psychedelic, in your opinion?
I guess most people consider it like some kind of drug reference in the vague, and a sound depth that sort of suggests otherworldliness. To me, I always liked Les Paul and Mary Ford and all those Bebopalula and Gene Vincent, those things that happened in slapback space, and that's kind of what we developed our sound around, that idea.
But your band is also played on the Underground Garage with a bunch of other really cool bands.
Right.
Does that bring newer audiences to you?
I think it does. Little Steven's been backing this for a long time. He's the one that really prompted us to go play live. He called me up on the phone, and I didn't know who he was. I had to ask my son who he was, and he told me who he was. So I said, gee, okay. And he said, I dare you guys to come back here. I'll give you 1 year. I dare you to come back here.
Cave Stomp?
And to Cave Stomp and play. So I said, okay, you're on. So we put it together and came back and played, and that was a great experience. And I realized there was sort of a resurgence in this music. So
yes, it's important. And with bands like the Hives and then the White Stripes, I mean, they would be nowhere without you. Really.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm claiming it.
I don't know about that. I mean, people say the Damned say we influenced them. Captain Sensible told me you influenced, but I never know how. I mean, I don't hear it in their music, but maybe they did. Bands influenced us, and maybe you wouldn't know it.
Like who?
Well, of course, the Rolling Stones. I mean, you couldn't get away from the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, the normal things. But I was more into Muddy Waters and some of the blues artists. And down in Southern California, it was more blues and surf music. A lot of this Dick Dale. I used to go watch him at the Rendezvous Ballroom, and blues and surf was bigger in Southern California. Up in San Francisco, it was more folk music and country, folk, I don't know what. It was just a different scene going on in both places. So anybody who was into that old stuff, I really liked. I grew up on that stuff.
Beautiful. And what is the current update on the Electric Prunes in the past?
Since we've gotten back together, we put out 3 albums. Artifact was a reunion album. California was our second album. It was about kind of an album about California in the 60s. And our new album is Feedback. And we put that out, well, I say new. It's like 1.5 years, 2 years old. And we're working on something now. So it's fun to keep recording, to be recording, and to be putting something out. We've written more songs now than we did when we came out the first time. So I don't know if anybody will listen to them. A lot of people are purists and only want to listen to the old music. But for us, we enjoy making them. And I think down the road, people will look back and appreciate it more. Kind of like making an artifact for the future.
Yes. That's great. And you told us earlier that you're a filmmaker.
I owned a commercial production company. I started off after the music business producing records and engineering records for other groups. And then I decided I wanted to go into film, so I started producing and directing children's shows. I did Winnie the Pooh for Disney, if you can believe that. And then I opened up a commercial production company. So for 20 years, I produced and directed television commercials.
Fabulous. Anything we might have seen?
No. Chevy trucks, F310, gasoline, I don't know. Nothing interesting.
Do you have any words of advice to younger bands? Anything they should listen to, or how they should approach music? Or
I do. I've said this before. I always tell younger bands, do never give up. You never know where a break will come from. You never know who will be listening. And you never know that silly thing that you think is a no-good song suddenly could turn into something for you. So the main thing is to just keep doing it. And it'll pay off. Something will happen for you.
Here from California with Electric Prunes. Hello, Montreal! We've been wanting to come here for a long time. It's really good to see you. Now we'll tell you about an old girlfriend. I love to put you on, but I love to put you on. Well, I love to put you on. Well, I love to put you on. Well, I love to put you on. Right.
I heard an anecdote with Jimi Hendrix,
Okay.
and I just wanted to maybe, if you recall, some in London.
We got to England and Jimi
It's on
Hendrix
here.
actually called us on the phone, which is kind of weird having Jimi Hendrix call you.
Yes.
And I had just been, I forget, I was in Reno or something, and someone played me a demo of his first stuff, the Purple Haze and those things, and I was just blown away. But I said, how many guys are in the band? They said, 3. I said, 3? And we got to England, and Hendrix called us on the phone and said, come on over. So our drivers took us over, and we sat watching movies. Most of it was upside down, as I recall, or spinning around or something. And he was making these great big splivs, and it was good. It was a lot of fun. And it was fun because he actually appreciated our lead guitar player. He liked the stuff he had done and knew things that we had done. So you never know who's listening.
Yes.
Remember that, young bands. You never know who's listening.
Now, are there any current bands that you enjoy?
Gee,
It's okay.
you made me do this on the spot. Any current bands?
Because I mean, if you ask me, I'd have a hard time myself.
Gee, I really appreciate all the new music. We played in Wolverhampton, and some guy's at the bar, and he comes up to me and says, "I'm in this band Coldplay." Our son was playing with us then. I didn't know who Coldplay was, and then suddenly they become huge. So I think everybody's doing interesting stuff. The Strokes, the Hives, the Killers. Who else? I don't know. My daughter listened to all the new music, so I get the benefit of her giving me a CD with 10 new bands on it, and I think it's great. I think what's going on is fantastic.
Does your daughter appreciate your musical past and your mark on your stamp on the music industry? And
She started to. She never knew I was in a band. My kids have never known that I was. Well, my other kids did, but she didn't know I was in a band. And she went to school got to go to school in Germany on the study abroad program, and we played in Amsterdam. So she came to see us play for the first time. We were playing in Amsterdam, and then we played in Copenhagen a couple of weeks later, and she came to see that show. So she got plugged into it real quick. She thought it was cool. It was cool.
It is cool, and it's cool to have you in Montreal. Actually, it's more than cool. It's a pleasure again, and thank you again.
It's a pleasure for us.
This is what you need to purchase, along with all
Feedback.
the newer stuff. But if you can get this on vinyl, it's perfect. We like to promote vinyl. And the newer stuff, is it available on vinyl?
Yeah,
or
can I tell you our website is
Absolutely.
www.electricprunes.net or myspace.com/prunetwang, PRUNETWANG. And you can hook up to buy our new stuff. We have a lot of memorabilia. We sell sometimes guitars there, and vinyl and CDs, T-shirts, buttons, and lettuce and bacon sandwiches. Whatever you need, we got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Little Alabama bell bottom strip who's bluer than the sky above. And of all the things she gives the boys, they shy away from her sweet love.